This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. Schools open in Baltimore after a calmer night. The death toll continues to rise in Nepal as aftershocks continue.
I got no plans tomorrow night.
And Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, and the rest of the Avengers kick off this summer's movie season starting this Friday.
I'm always picking up after you boys.
Hello and welcome to Matador News. I'm Jennifer Guzman.
And I'm Janayle Ruiz. The death toll continues to rise after the Saturday 7.8 magnitude earthquake in Nepal. Currently, more than 5,000 people are believed to be dead, but those numbers are increasing since information is still emerging from remote areas in Nepal. Rescuers are still looking for victims in the wreckage, but the possibility of finding survivors is becoming less likely since the past crucial 72 hours has passed. Nepal hospitals are packed with 9,200 injured victims. Relief workers say that they're worried about the lack of supplies since 4 million people are in need of food.
And now to the newsroom with Matador News reporter Victor Park, who has the latest on the Baltimore riots.
Jennifer, at this hour, the Baltimore Orioles are playing the White Sox in what might be for the first time in Major League Baseball history, an empty stadium that is closed to the public. The Orioles are up 6-0 at last check. Now, the city streets are much calmer and the schools have reopened, but a heavy police presence remains throughout the city. The cleanup continues today and people are heading back to work after day one of the week-long overnight curfew. Police say for the most part, the people of Baltimore stayed inside their homes.
In totality in the city, after our curfew went up, we've had about 10 total arrests.
But the damage has been done. Police cars set on fire, a CVS pharmacy looted and set on fire too. A senior center still under construction, costing $16 million, gone too. From the air, you can see the massive crowds overwhelming police truck. The police firing back, sending rounds of pepper balls and tear gas after rioters threw rocks and bricks at them, sending more than 20 officers to the hospital. The riots began Monday, hours after the funeral of Freddie Gray, a black man who died while in police custody. But in the midst of all the chaos, a mother seen pushing her son away. Mothers praising her now.
In such a tense situation, it's really about making sure your kid doesn't get into more trouble in a worse way.
Now, the Baltimore Sun reports nearly $6 million were paid out to victims of police brutality since 2011, and the LA Times reports that unemployment is much higher than the national average in the most areas affected by the riots, particularly among blacks, and 60% of the adults have no high school diploma. Meanwhile, here in Los Angeles, the LAPD remains on a blue alert. This means all officers must be in pairs. They're doing this in response to the riots and threats from ISIS. And Janayle, no significant protest has been reported so far. Back to you in the studio.
The Nigerian army says that they're still screening and interviewing girls and women who were rescued from the Boko Haram terrorist camps yesterday. The girls have not yet been reunited with their families, but they're out of harm's way. Nigerian officials say that these girls are not the Chibok girls who were kidnapped from their school 1 year ago and have still not been found. Yesterday, 200 girls and 93 women were rescued during the raid at the Sambasa forest. The Sambasa forest has been a stronghold for the Boko Haram group. 4 militant camps were cleared and destroyed during the rescue. Boko Haram is a religious extremist group that has killed and kidnapped hundreds, if not thousands, of girls in the past years, and still has numerous captives.
President Obama is honoring our country's educators today. A ceremony at the White House for the 2015 National Teacher of the Year and finalists took place this morning. Shanna Peoples of Amarillo, Texas, who works with refugee and impoverished immigrant students, received the Crystal Apple Award as this year's winner. The Teacher of the Year ceremony includes 55 finalists and is a chance to say thank you to the leaders of America's classrooms. This morning's event follows the president's visit with Japan's Prime Minister yesterday.
A suspected drug tunnel has been found going through a Tijuana home in Mexico into the United States. The Border Patrol says the tunnel is about 220 yards long with lighting and rail car system. No drugs were found and no arrests have been made, but the investigation continues. Border officials say that drug cartels have been illegally smuggling their merchandise through tunnels into the United States. Since 2008, more than 75 tunnels have been discovered.
Now let's go to Matador News reporter Harry Abelson live in the Sundial studio with CSUN Department of Special Ed professor Beth Lasky.
Thanks, Jennifer. I am here with Dr. Lasky, who is a CSUN professor in the Special Education Department. So I would like to start by asking, can you talk a little bit about the program and what exactly the Special Education Department is?
Well, the Special Education Department is in the College of Education, and we train teachers to work with students with disabilities from birth through about 22, 23 years old.
Okay, and I know that you are starting a course here at CSUN. Can you talk a little bit about what that is and why you think it's an important class?
Okay, I'd be happy to. The course is Special Ed 200, and it is an introduction to disability studies. So it's really not an education course. It's more of an introduction to the field of disability studies. It talks about the history of disability rights, the impact that people with disabilities have on society, and it's to bring awareness to the kinds of prejudices and hopefully how we can all in society change our attitudes and beliefs about people with disabilities so that they have more of an equal chance the way all of us do.
Right. Okay, I know there's going to be a fun event on Friday. Can you talk a little bit about what's happening with that?
I can. It's sort of to celebrate the end of our first semester teaching this new course. We are able to screen a documentary that will be going into general release in the fall called Cinemability. And we're going to be showing it Friday at 7 o'clock in the Armour Theater of Manzanita Hall.
Okay, and do students what do they have to do if they would like to go?
If anybody would like to go, they should email me, and it's beth.lasky@csun.edu. There are not very many seats left. We've got a wait list now, but it's a wonderful, wonderful film. Has lots of directors, producers, as well as celebrities talking about the images of people with disabilities in both movies and television shows. It's a wonderful, wonderful film. We're lucky enough to have the director and producer who will be staying after to answer questions.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And let's go back to the studio for the latest on health news with Jessica Atkins.
An NBC4 I-Team investigation has found LA County is failing to inspect many restaurants regularly. This is causing filth at restaurants and cases of food poisoning. The head of the county's restaurant inspection program and director of LA County Environmental Health says they could be doing a better job. Restaurants are required to have 3 health inspections a year, especially at high-risk restaurants that serve raw meat, poultry, and fish. The I-Team investigated restaurant inspections from the last 2 years and found most restaurants are not getting the mandatory 3 inspections. LA County's policy requires an inspector must return to a restaurant 2 weeks after a bad inspection, but the team also found that does not usually happen. Governor Brown wants to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Brown issued an executive order this morning aiming to cut emissions to 40% below 1990 levels by 2030. Legislation is also under consideration that would increase the use of renewable energy, boost energy efficiency in outdated buildings, and reduce gasoline use on state roads. The governor is scheduled to discuss the greenhouse gas emissions issue at 2 events in Los Angeles later today. Now let's go to Teresa Barrientos with the latest in business.
Beer company Bud Light has apologized for a bottle label that some say promoted rape culture. The label read, "The perfect beer for removing no from your vocabulary for the night." It was part of their new campaign called Up for Whatever. The company faced heavy backlash from social media and has since stopped making the label. CNBC reports Time Warner Cable has scheduled a meeting with Charter Communications next week. This comes after Time Warner's merge with the largest cable provider Comcast failed. Time Warner Cable and Charter combined would have 15 million video customers and 16.5 million internet subscribers. That's still smaller than Comcast alone, which has 22.4 million video subscribers and 22 million internet customers. A separate deal between AT&T and DirecTV is still expected to go through. Now let's go to Jessica Atkins with the latest in sports.
In the first round of the NBA playoffs, the Clippers lost in a thriller Game 5 against the San Antonio Spurs with a score of 107 to 111. Blake Griffin started strong. The Clippers have an early lead. By the third, the Spurs were slightly ahead. Chris Paul shot the ball over Blake Griffin. He tossed it up and in to tie the game. Clippers continued to fight in the fourth. A big shot from Tim Duncan gave the Spurs a 6-point lead. DeAndre Jordan landed a huge dunk to bring the Clippers within two. 6.9 seconds left in the game. The Clippers down 1. Griffin tossed the ball up. Jordan tapped the ball in. The refs called player interference on Jordan, and the game ended. The Spurs are now leading the series 3-2. Game 6 will be on Thursday in San Antonio. The much-anticipated Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight will take place this Saturday at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. This fight will be a defining moment in Mayweather's career as he is undefeated. Mayweather says he appreciates all the support he is receiving from the fans.
I really want to take my hat off to the fans and the people from around the world that have supported this event.
Regardless of what happens Saturday, Pacquiao has definitely earned his spot on any list of 50 best fighters. Pacquiao says the fight is not only very important to him, but to boxing history as well. He says they do not want to leave a question mark in the minds of fans. All questions will be answered in the ring on Saturday. Now let's go to Teresa Barrientos with the latest in entertainment.
Bruce Jenner has threatened to sue the New York Daily News for publishing a photo of him in a dress. Jenner claims the photos were unlawfully taken from a long distance with a special camera lens. His lawyer says the lawsuit will protect Jenner's right to privacy. The former Olympian recently revealed in an interview with Diane Sawyer that he identifies as a woman. Jenner has received support from many celebrities and has even inspired a new social media trend. Thousands of people worldwide have shown support for Jenner by posting pictures of painted fingernails with #PaintYourNailsForBruce. China's highest-grossing movie is no longer Transformers: Age of Extinction. Fast and Furious 7 starring Vin Diesel is now at the top, making $74 million in its second full week in theaters. The official Xinhua news agency says Furious 7 has now made over $332 million at the China box office. The film's worldwide box office crossed the $1 billion mark last week. Speaking of summer movies, Matador news reporter Ashton Smith is in the newsroom with more on upcoming releases.
Summer movie season officially kicks off this Friday, and analysts are estimating $5 billion in revenue from movies coming out between May 1st and the end of August. Avengers: Age of Ultron is probably the most anticipated movie for this summer, and it opens nationwide in theaters Friday. Here are the movies CSUN students want to see.
Hot Pursuit, because I know someone that's in it, and also because Sofia Vergara and Reese Witherspoon, that'd be an interesting combination to see.
I'm actually looking forward to Insidious 3. Jurassic Park?
I'm excited for Avengers. You know, you always love seeing Captain America out there.
Probably Avengers, because I collect comic books.
Insidious 3 will open in theaters June 5th, and Hot Pursuit will open May 8th. Other movies that analysts think will be big hits this summer are Jurassic World and Terminator Genesis. Now let's go to Jennifer Guzman with more on this week's weather.
After a very warm start to the week, temperatures are expected to be well above average once again, hitting 91 in the San Fernando Valley today. The high heat will remain through Thursday and Friday, but the weather will cool down for the weekend, so expect some cloudy, overcast skies and a temperature drop by the beginning of next week. No rain is expected, only clouds in the morning and afternoon sunshine.
I'm Janayle Ruiz.
And I'm Jennifer Guzman. Thank you for watching Matador News.